Okay, welcome to my 52 game challenge. So a group of us got together and throughout the year decided to do the 52 game challenge, which is basically complete a game every week of the year, totaling 52 games. And obviously seeing how many we can do, some of us didn't make it, some of us did the 52, others far surpassed the 52 mark. Anyway, I'll let them do their videos and talk about how many they did. Hopefully they'll all do videos. And yeah, my 52 challenge. So I did it a little bit different to everybody else. I set myself a couple of personal challenges along the way. One of them being I had to play every single system that I own and try and get a game completed on them systems. And the other one was I did an alphabet challenge. So obviously with there being 26 letters of the alphabet, doing the alphabet twice is 52. So I tried to do the alphabet twice, basically completing a game with a letter of the alphabet, going all the way through twice. Yeah, that's how that works. So we'll see if I manage to complete it. And then, yeah, so in complete total, I did 74 games. So I did complete it. However, 16 of them games, 14 on the Xbox and 2 on the PlayStation, I'm not counting in my 52 because they were just too easy or too quick. So 14 quick 1000G games and 2 easy trophy games. So I'm not really counting them as a full game on the challenge, which puts me down to 58. So 58 games, so still did more than the 52, which I'm more than happy about. I do have 5 games unfinished, unfortunately. There are only 2 days left of the year and I'm working both days, so I don't think I'm going to get a chance now to complete any more, or at least the ones I want to complete. So that's why I'm doing the video now. This is where we're going to total it up at. So of my 15 systems, I managed to complete games on 11 of them. 4 of them unfortunately did not. However, 3 of them I did play on. There was only one console I didn't play on, and that's because I don't have it set up and it was too much of a faff to get it downstairs on the other TV, set it all up, and that was the Dreamcast. And I'm really gutted about that because I love the Dreamcast. So I didn't manage to play it on the Dreamcast. The 3 systems I did play on but didn't complete a game on were the DS, the PSP and the Wii U. Now the reason for this is, especially the 2 handheld systems, I don't tend to play handheld while I'm at home. If I'm at home, I like to just play on my big TV and play one of my actual games on the TV. And yeah, so that put the handheld systems quite far back. Plus I had done the 2 games I was playing on the handheld, I finished the letters, and then it couldn't bring me to finish the games on the handheld. I wish I had it done. They are good games and I'm quite close to one of them completing. I'll show you them in a minute. Anyway, the other one was the Wii U. I didn't finish the game on the Wii U because, again, the game I was playing, I managed to get the letters on other consoles and I stopped playing it, forgetting that I wanted to complete a game on the console, so I screwed myself over on that. I'm a good way through the game, I could easily complete it, so I will go back and do that. So that was them. So we'll talk about the games that I didn't do. So on the DS, it was Final Fantasy 12 Revenant Wings. So I put a good bit of time into it. I don't think I'm anywhere near completing it. I just stopped because I had so many Fs done. I more than did my 2 Fs. So yeah, it's one I need to go back to on the DS. The PSP one was a franchise that I went through, and I wanted to do the one on the PSP. So that's Resistance to Retribution, and I'm right near the end of this, so I really should finish that up. If I get a chance in the last 2 days, I might try and get this one finished just to get it done and say I did it. I don't know if I will get time. And the one on the Wii U was Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Really enjoying this. It's a really good game, so I do want to finish this. It was a shame I didn't get around to finishing it, so that'll get done at some point. Then the other 2 games I've got here that I didn't finish were the only 2 letters I didn't finish. So there was 2 letters I didn't finish, and that was one X and one K. Yeah, I did all the others more than twice. So the 2 I didn't finish was, for my X, was X-Men 2 Wolverine's Revenge on the original Xbox. And I didn't finish this because, Jesus Christ, this is hard. It's a hard game. For many reasons. One, the camera is terrible and the combat is not great. But if you do die in the level you're on, you have to completely restart the whole level. You have to do the whole level in one sitting. There are no checkpoints, no save states, nothing. So you have to do each level at a time. It saves after the end of the level. I got more than halfway through it. I got to Act 3, Level 1, and the level was just ridiculous. So it's kind of a stealth-based mission where you have to go and break into the Weapon X facility. And I can get almost to the end of the level, but there's a point where you have to go on a mounted turret to destroy a box for an electric fence, and the box just wouldn't destroy. And while you're doing that, you've got loads of guys shooting you and just absolutely bombarding you with grenades, and it just kept dying over and over. And just replaying the level was doing my head in. I'd nailed it down to a fine tune, like smashing through the level, no problem. It just got to that point and it just wouldn't let me do it. I just gave up on it. I must have tried the level well over 50 times. You know, I was just getting annoyed with it. But it's a shame because other than that, it's just pretty good game. It seems alright. Like, there's a button where you can make your claws go in and out. Obviously, if you've got your claws out, you're doing more damage. If you've got your claws in, you then get the healing effect, so you start healing. However, it heals really slow. So you just find yourself standing there for ages in a corner, waiting for yourself to heal if you need to. Some of the bosses are a little bit frustrating, but managed to plow through it. I just got to that bit, and yeah, it did my head in. I even checked some videos out, and I was doing everything right. I don't know why it just wouldn't let me do it. So I gave up on that X, and the K that I wanted to finish up on was Killer is Dead. Again, I'm probably about 5 levels through the game, so I'm a good portion of the way through the game to how many levels are left looking at the achievements. I just stopped playing it. I don't have time to finish it, unfortunately, but one I will go back to. So they're games that I didn't get finished on my 52. So let's talk about games I did get finished in my 52 game challenge. So I didn't do them in order of going A to Z and then A to Z again. I literally was just playing random games and then marking them off on my list once I'd completed a letter, game or system. That's probably why maybe I ran out of time and didn't get the letters finished that I did. Again, there were some letters that I completed many games on, 4 or 5 for a letter, and again that put me back on doing the alphabet twice. If I'd focused on it a bit more better, I would have got it finished easy. But yeah, let's talk about the ones we did. So starting off with the A, I did Origami on the Xbox One, but it was digital because it was, I think, in Games for Gold. However, I do have one to show you on the PS4. I have already finished on the PS4, got the Platinum. Great game. I absolutely love it. It's not the best looking game. It reminds me of Tenshu on the PS1. The first one's quite different to the second one. As in, the first one, it's more straight mission based. Taking down, you're a shadow basically, and you use the shadows to keep your health, do abilities, and take down enemies and get through the level. The other game I did for 8 was Origami 2. And I did that again digitally on the Xbox One. I think it hit Game Pass, although I think it's left again now. I managed to get the full 1000G out of it, fully completed it. It's quite different to the first one. This one you play, in the first one you play as a specifically named character. In the second one you kind of create your own shadow origami. And you just go on doing missions for people in a village. And yeah, there's loads of missions, hundreds of missions on the maps. And then once you complete mission on the map, you might get missions for it later on which expand the map and make the maps bigger as you progress through the game. Again, I just really enjoyed it. I love games like that, just being a ninja, going around just stealthing enemies and getting through and doing that. So they were my 2 A's. And then from B's, I did a digital game again on the Xbox One. It was Beyond Eyes. It's kind of a walking simulator game where you play as a young girl who is blind and you explore the world through senses. So as you're walking, you can only see the area that you're kind of standing in, and as you walk in, the world builds itself. And yeah, it was quite a good game. I did enjoy it. It's pretty short from what I can remember. There's a frustrating bit where I think it starts raining, and the rain washes away what you've already seen, so you don't know where you've been, and you're trying to work your way through the levels. You can follow, I think, are you trying to find a cat, if I can remember, and obviously the cat's got a little bell, so the bell rings and you can sense where you've kind of got to go. But yeah, it was an enjoyable game. The next one I did for my B was Xbox original game, Black. I heard a lot of people talking about this, so I had to give it a go. And yeah, it's pretty damn decent. EA game, when EA used to make good games. First person shooter, not much of a story. It's, you know what, you can see a lot of Call of Duty Black Ops in this. They basically stole the idea from this game. It is Call of Duty Black Ops. You're playing as a Black Op mercenary who's being interrogated about missions, and then you're playing their missions that you've been interrogated about. It's almost identical. There's some great lighting effects. It looks absolutely amazing on my 4K TV. Like, it looks fantastic. And just some, yeah, just great set pieces in it. Not many levels, it was quite short, but really enjoyable to play, so recommend that one. Then move on to C. Both of these were digital games. I'm not going to show or put any footage up about them. If you're interested, I'm sure you can find videos on them yourself. I don't have time. So first C was Carrion. I played it digitally on the Xbox One. Again, I think it was a Game Pass. I think it's left now. You can get it on multiple systems. It's kind of a 8-bit retro style game. A bit Metroidvania. Yeah, you play as this red kind of alien blob, and you go around the levels, eating people, getting abilities, becoming bigger, so you can do other things and get around other parts of the level. Probably not described very well, but I know quite a few people have played it, so yeah, that was really good. I really enjoyed that. I did get lost at one point, which is irritating, but I persevered and managed to do it. The other one was, I think it was a remake of a 360 game. If I remember it right, it's called Contrast. I played it again digitally on the Xbox One. I think it's kind of a HD remaster or whatever, and again I think it hit Game Pass. A lot of stuff I played on Game Pass while I had it. Yeah, you play as, it's kind of hard to explain. You're a little girl, but then you have, do you have dreams? And you play as a fully grown woman, and you use shadows and stuff to get around platforming levels and things like that. And then the story that's playing is about your, I think it's about your mother and father, or at least your father, and I think he left you, and it's why he left you and that kind of stuff. It's been a while since I played it, but a good game from what I remember, so check it out if you get a chance. The next one, we're on to D. So a game I've completed many times, but I'd not done this version, so it was the War Mastered version of Darksiders on the Xbox One. I got the 1000G on the 360. I think I've done it on the PS3 as well, but then it obviously got remastered on the Xbox One and I had to go through it again, so got the 1000G again on the Xbox One. I absolutely love this series. This is probably my favourite game of the series. Each one plays completely different, so this is a 3D action adventure with Metroidvania elements where you have to get abilities to get into other parts of the levels. The second one is more of an action adventure RPG, and then the third one's kind of a light Soulsborne style game, but still action 3D adventure as well. They have that in common with just different elements. But yeah, absolutely love this game, so love going through that again. The next D, again I have physical, was Doom Eternal. This is absolutely mental. Just proper good arcade fun. Obviously first person shooter in the Doom universe. This is the sequel to the reboot of the Doom series that recently got done as well, which I've also completed. I didn't do it in my 52. But yeah, I wanted to get this one done, and yeah, it's phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. It's just mentally fast, so much to do, loads of abilities that you have to kind of combine to get armor and health back, as well as obviously taking down the enemies and getting through the level using abilities, platforming bits in there, as well as just running around corridors. Graphics are absolutely stunning, and yeah, just loved it. Loads of little kind of challenges to do on as well as you're going through. Next one, we're on to E. Again, we've got some more physical games. So we did Evil Within 2. Completed the first one. previously. So the second one, yeah, I actually ended up completing this, I think 3 or 4 times to get the full 1000 G from it. Fully completed it. Great game, survival horror games. Quite different, the second one to the first one. And how I would put it is, the first one is proper true survival horror. A lot like the original kind of Resident Evil, if you like. And I would compare this one more to Resident Evil 4, where it's more kind of combat based. But it does still have obviously lots of survival horror elements in there. But it is more combat based. There's more weapons and more parts in the levels where you have to kill enemies, rather than the first one where you have to kind of sneak around or take them down stealthily and that kind of stuff. But again, really enjoyed it. Going for the 1000 G was quite enjoyable, but it does require multiple playthroughs. I've lost my page. So the other E I did was, again, a digital game that I played on Game Pass on the Xbox One. Has it left now? I can't remember if it's left. It might still, if it's still on there, definitely give it a go. It's a good game. I have no idea how to pronounce the first word, so bear with me. Eiyuden Chronicle Rising, something like that. I did manage to get the full 1000 G out of it again. It's kind of a 8-bit styled characters, but on a modern background and setting. So really nice visuals with 8-bit characters on. And it's kind of a side-scrolling RPG, adventure, Metroidvania, just, yeah, loads of stuff in there. A lot of questing on there. You're going through the levels, doing quests for the villagers that you're trying to build this village for. And yeah, but it's an absolutely great game. You play as a young girl and you get followers later that you can control. One of them's a kangaroo with a massive sword, and then you get another gal who's like a magic user. And yeah, I absolutely loved it. Again, going for the 1000 G was really enjoyable. Going through the different environments and levels, getting them abilities to progress through the levels was just really fun. I do like a good Metroidvania game anyway, so yeah, really enjoyed that. Then Fs, we got quite a few Fs. We got 4 Fs that I did. The first one was a digital game again on Game Pass, because Game Pass is so good. It's called Firewatch. Really enjoyed it. You play, it's kind of a first-person walking simulator game, if you like, where you play as a guy who's had a weird past. It unfolds as you play the game, and you've gone to a nature reserve, a massive nature reserve, and you're in a tower. And yeah, you're there just to basically look after it. And there's another woman in another tower in the part of the reserve, and you have walkie-talkies, and you just communicate through the walkie-talkies. And the best part of the game is using the walkie-talkies to kind of get to know each other. But then there's mysteries evolving as you're playing the game. She'll see something like, oh, there's some smoke rising near where you are. Can you go check it out? Make sure no one's starting a fire. And from that, just weird stuff starts happening. And there's murder mystery. And yeah, I won't spoil it too much if you haven't played it, but definitely worth playing. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a great game. Then I did, now I don't have don't show you on this console, but I have them on another console that I have, because I'm weird like that. So I did Final Fantasy X, the HD remaster, on Game Pass on the Xbox One. So I have it on the PS4 to do as well. I'm halfway through the PS4 version, but I did it on the Xbox One digital. I just love the Final Fantasy series. 10 I really like. It's the first one that had actual voices and stuff in it. There are loads of memes for this game, Tidus laughing being probably the most used one. But yeah, absolutely love this game. So I didn't do 10-2, although I did start it, but I did fully finish 10, but obviously did it on the Xbox One. And also did Final Fantasy 12, because both of them were on Game Pass at the time. They've now both left. I do have it on the PS4 to show, but I did it again on Game Pass on the Xbox One. And yeah, when I first played this one on the PS2 and completed it, it was good, but it wasn't great. I really enjoyed it more the second time playing it on this. I don't know why. I just did. I just got into it a bit more using the gambit system. Obviously, a lot of people complain once you set your gambits up, it's literally go into battle, put your controller down, the game plays itself. But obviously, depending on what gambits you use is how you want to play the game. But really enjoyed it, going through again, and visually both games look amazing. So enjoyed playing those. I'm just keeping an eye on time because my camera will cut out. And the other F we did was one, again, I got it free, I believe, on the Xbox for buying Far Cry 5, but you got the Far Cry 3 updated version. So obviously I've already done it on the PS3, on the Xbox 360, but I did it on the Xbox One digital that I got free. So I did the game again, got 1000G again. I already got it on the 360, so I've done that game twice now. But it's a fantastic game, probably one of the best Far Cry games in the series, and Vass is just an awesome kind of antagonist in the game. Is one of the best. So that takes us off F. On to G. 2 digital games for the G. Gunk we did again on Game Pass on the Xbox One. You play as a woman who's crash landed on an alien planet, and you have to get parts to rebuild your ship by adventuring around 3D adventure game, doing bits. I quite enjoyed it for what it was. It was quite short. It was a relatively easy 1000G, but good story based action game. Then one that I'm actually quite gutted I don't have physically, and I will be looking out to get it physically, even though I've already completed it and got the 1000G on it. I did it on Game Pass again, on the one, and that's Guardians of the Galaxy. An absolute surprise. Absolutely fantastic game. Voice acting is superb in it. You obviously play as the Guardians of the Galaxy, although you only really control Peter Quill, and then the other Guardians are with you, and you kind of give them things to do, so you can tell them to use what abilities to use while you're in combat and stuff. And yeah, you're adventuring around planets, doing missions. Great story unfolds throughout the whole game, and it was just an absolute joy to play. So yeah, definitely recommend playing that if you're into your superheroes and Guardians and stuff. Then we'll do, how much time I've got left? Okay, let's try and get a couple more letters done before the break. So H, we did Hard Edge on PS1. After picking this game up from 2BD champion Rob, I thought I'd better give it a go. Really enjoyed it. Classic PS1 kind of 3D, what do you call it, static camera game. Plays a bit like obviously the old Resident Evils, just without zombies. It's more like robots and stuff you're destroying. You're trapped in a building that terrorists have took over, and obviously you're trying to regain the building and take the terrorists down. Yeah, just really enjoyed it. You play as 2 characters, a male and a female, and yeah, it was pretty good. The last boss was an absolute sod. It did take me a few times to get it, but we got there and completed that one for the PS1. And then last H we did was Horizon Zero Dawn. We did the complete edition, so we did all the DLC as well. Got the platinum on it. Really enjoyed it. Fantastic open world game. Really looking forward to playing the second one now. I don't have it yet, but that will be coming for next year. And yeah, you play as Aloy, set in a post-apocalyptic world where everything's kind of gone back to basics, and you're using your bow and arrow and various other kind of, what's the word for it, primitive weapons to take down robots, dinosaurs and creatures and that kind of stuff. I'm sure everybody's familiar with this game by now, but yeah, visually absolutely stunning. Great story throughout. Just have a couple of famous people in it as well, and just absolutely loved playing this game. Right, camera's about to cut, so we'll cut there. Okay, and that was H. So what I will say as well is we did do various challenges throughout the year. So we had a specific month of just a console. So we had an Xbox month, a PlayStation month, a Nintendo month. I don't think we got round to Sega month, did we? So guys, we must do that next year. But they're the ones that I took part in and managed to complete games for various systems throughout the year. So I did the Xbox One, the PlayStation One, and the Nintendo one. And that was good to mix it up as well and make sure that I played all my systems and games on them as well. So moving on to I. So the first one Again, a game that I kind of wish I got digitally as well. Oh, just spilled some more bloody drink. And that, again, I played it on Game Pass digitally on the Xbox One. And it was Immortals Phoenix Rising, another open world game where you play as a kind of a god, demigod, and the Zeus and the other big gods are giving you missions to take down, or go to Tartarus and take down, geez, what's his name? I completely forgot. Big bad guy anyway. Yeah, but you can get different mounts and go around this open world doing missions, collecting loads of collectibles and that kind of stuff. And I really enjoyed it. Thought it was a great game. Got the 1000G on that as well. And the other eye we did, so we did various kind of genres of games as well. And we did Injustice, Gods Among Us on the 360. So beat 'em up game made by the guys that did or do Mortal Kombat. And you can tell it plays quite a bit like a Mortal Kombat game, but using DC heroes and villains. And it's got a great story campaign on it. It's not just one-on-one fighting, which obviously it is, but it has its own actual story campaign, which is really actually long for a beat-em-up game, and really enjoyable as well. The story on it is pretty damn good, where you go to a different kind of world in their multiverse, if you like, playing as all the characters, going through doing their own storylines, and I really enjoyed it. So I think I'm going to play a bit more of this as well and just get a few more achievements out of it, not just the story ones. That's a good one to look out for if you're into your fighters. Then we did a digital PS4 game which I got free. I can't remember why I got it free. I think there was an issue with PlayStation for something, and they gave a load of games out for free for whatever reason. But the Journey, a game where you play as this little, I don't know, man, woman, it's not even clear, just a little figure. And yeah, you're just going through a little platforming adventure game. You got this scarf that lights up and gives you some abilities to like jump and fly and all that kind of stuff. It was quite short, but I did add it because it complete the story, and yeah, it was alright, quite enjoyable. And the one I've literally just finished this, just wanted to get it done before I make the video, just so I can complete this letter. And the other J we're doing, we're counting it as J because it just start with J on the sleeve, and it's a bit of a thing, but yeah, it's James Cameron's Avatar the game, and it does say on start with J, it comes with J on the wall, so yeah, we're counting it as J, not just Avatar. And I actually quite enjoyed this. Obviously with the new movie coming out, I want to go through this and just relive a bit the old story. You do get to play as both sides, the Navi and the RDA, they're called in this. I did the Navi story, decent length. You go to different kind of parts of the planet, doing missions trying to save the planet and all that kind of stuff. You've got various weapons and upgrades you can get on it, and yeah, it's quite a colourful game. It's quite nice. It looks really good for a 360 game. I enjoyed it. It's not obviously not the best, but it's alright, so I've just done it. That one. Then the only K that I did manage to do was a digital game on Game Pass on the One, and it was Kill It With Fire. And I'm counting it because I had loads of fun on it, and it's basically you go into different areas and they're populated by spiders, different kinds of spiders, like explosive spiders, radioactive spiders, and you basically got to find all the spiders and kill them in various ways using various different kind of weapons and things that you can just kill spiders with. And yeah, just had a lot of fun on it. It was just great fun. Got the full 1000G from it, so I thought I'd count it and recommend giving it a go for a bit of fun. And that's it, sadly the only K we did. Like I said, it's the only that I didn't complete twice. Then moving on to L, we did Lost Words. I'm going to say Worlds then, am I right? And Lost Words it was called. Again, a digital game on the Xbox One. It was on Game Pass, I think it's left now. And it was kind of a platforming storybook game, from what I can remember. I can't remember too much about it now, but I know it was alright. And that was the first one I did on there, so we added that. The other one, again, was a Game Pass game which I think has left, which I played on the Xbox One, called Last Stop, and really enjoyed this. It's kind of a, again, it's a story-based game, almost point and click, but not fully point and click. It's also a bit 3D, moving around a bit, and it plays a bit like, what you call it, the Life is Strange games, but not to that full standard, if that makes sense. So you do certain actions, move around, and then you've got dialogue choices, which, depending on what dialogue you pick, is obviously what you're saying, how the story progresses. You do play as 3 different people who are complete strangers, but their stories are entwined through this massive mystery that's going on, and the story is fantastic. It's really good. And yeah, just really enjoyed it. And you have to complete the first part of the story for each 3 characters before you can move on to the second parts of their stories. You can't just do one character's full story and then go on to the next characters, so it does break it up and makes it more of a mystery as how these people are connected. So really good if you do get a chance to play that. Then we did do another L, so we did 3 L's. And on the GameCube we did Luigi's Mansion. Because we have the 3rd one now on the Switch. I just don't have the 2nd one. And it's a game I've always wanted to play, so I thought, why not? Gets 2 done, it gets me an L, and gets me a system completed on the GameCube. Like I said, a game I've just always wanted to play and never got round to. So yeah, we did Luigi's Mansion, and I did really enjoy it. Playing as Luigi, going around the haunted mansion, sucking up ghosts in his Hoover thing. And yeah, I thought it was alright. So I'd be interested to play the other games and see how they've progressed as well. Moving on, we've got M. So for M we did a digital cloud-based game on the One, and the reason I say that is because I got something else later in the year which I could have played on but didn't. So again, on Game Pass we did Medium, which was an Xbox Series X kind of exclusive. You could only play it on the Series X, but then it came out to play on the cloud on the Xbox One. I kind of wish I hadn't played it on the Xbox One because because I was playing it on cloud, the graphics were a bit fogged over, they weren't the best, and there was some connection issues. It did spoil the game a little bit for me, so I'll have to go back now and play it on Series X. But did get the 1000G out of it, and I did manage to finish the game. It just seemed an enjoyable game. It's kind of a, not really a murder mystery, kind of a murder mystery, action, adventure. Is it survival horror? A little bit survival horror, maybe. Yeah, just enjoyed it. And then the other M we did was another console. I managed to finally finish, and it's a bloody long game actually. Mainly because I play it handheld when we go away. I've not played it too much at home on the TV. But Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And yeah, like Mark said, he thought this was just a party game, but it's not. It's a, not really RTS, what do you call it? A real-time strategy game, a bit like, yeah, XCOM and that kind of stuff. So the Rabbids have invaded Mario's world, and they all take, some of them take the form of characters from the Mario world. So there's a Rabbid Peach, a Rabbid Mario, Rabbid Luigi, Rabbid Yoshi and that kind of stuff. So you build your party of 3 players using actual Mario characters and Rabbid versions of them characters, all with their own abilities, to go through stages and levels, like I say, planning your attacks, moving your characters around, doing various abilities to take down the enemies in that area or get to a certain goal in that area and get through. I also completed all the DLC as well, because we had some free coins on the Switch and we managed to buy the DLC for free, which is really good. It's like a Donkey Kong DLC where you play as the Donkey Kong characters and you're taking down a big massive Rabbid Kong, who is in the main story as well. It's just a really fun, enjoyable game. So I'm looking forward to playing the sequel now that that's out as well, and we'll be picking that up. So recommend that. That's really cheap as well on the Switch. It's probably one of the cheapest Switch games you can get. It has been for a while, well under 20 quid. For a Mario game, that's pretty good. Where did we get to? On to N. So all of the Ninja Gaiden games got like a big HD remaster. They all hit Game Pass. I've played them all on Game Pass as well as playing them all previously. but I only finished one of them, and I've got one to show you, but I've got the PS3 version of it. Obviously I played it digitally on the Xbox One on Game Pass, but we did Ninja Gaiden Sigma, just the re-updated version of it. Absolute balls hard game, but an absolutely fantastic game, and the graphics look phenomenal now. It's been redone on the Xbox One. Obviously the Sigma version gives you loads of extra characters to play as, costumes and that kind of stuff. Massive visual upgrade. Really enjoyed going through that and completed that, the first one again. Like I say, I have the second and third ones to go through again as well. I don't think I've got both Sigmas on the PS3, but I don't think I've done them on the PS3. So I have to go through them again at some point as well. And then the same kind of thing, I've got the PS3 version to show you, although I've not finished on the PS3. I did, again, the digital version on the Xbox One that hit Game Pass, and that is the remaster of Ni no Kuni and the White Witch. What a game. Absolutely fantastic game. It's a kind of cel-shaded cartoon. It's an RPG, and Drippy, the little fairy that follows you around, is funny as hell. He's got a Welsh accent and kind of dialogue. It just makes it even funnier. And yeah, you travel between worlds, between the real world and this fantasy world, and that's part of the game mechanic as well, where you have to travel between the worlds because souls are linked, and you might be able to talk to somebody in one part of the world that will affect their other half in the other part of the world, as well as being a massive, obviously, RPG adventure, which is just thoroughly entertaining and amazing. Great story and just really fun to play. So yeah, been really enjoying that. I do need a few more achievements on it, which I need to mop up on, but it's, yeah, the game's so good, I'll gladly go back and do some of them. Then we did another Xbox One game. I think I got this with Games with Gold. I got it free. So it was Outlast, a first-person survival horror shit your pants type game. Yeah, it's absolutely brutal. You just you've got a camcorder which you use to see in the dark. The game is very dark, and looking through the camcorder, you're trying to get through this insane asylum, I think it is, and you're obviously needing to find batteries to change your camera to look in when you put your night vision and stuff on, and it just makes it really tense as this massive guy who's following you around, who's trying to kill you as well. And yeah, just really tense. I also did the DLC for it as well, because I've managed to get that free somehow, I can't remember how. And that just added a bit more to it, and I just enjoyed playing that. I've not played the sequel yet, but that's on the list to do. Then we did a Xbox 360 arcade game, which again I got with Games with Gold free a little while back, and that's Orcs Must Die. And again, just an enjoyable game. It's a tower defense 3D action game, so you control an apprentice. You've got a magical crossbow and a sword that you obviously have your set level with various ways that the orcs are going to burst through a door, and they're going to go through the level in a set path to try and get to this fountain thing that they're trying to destroy. And when they go in, obviously you lose points for your fountain. And then you get various, every time you complete a level, you get an extra ability or an attack and that kind of stuff. And things like spikes on the floor, arrows that shoot out of walls, crushes from the ceiling, all that kind of stuff. So you set up your defences, the orcs come through. And as well as just standing there placing your traps, you're also controlling your characters as well, so you get to shoot them or fight them with your sword and crossbow and other abilities that you get in the game. And it was just a really enjoyable game. I wanted it to go on a bit longer than it did, because it's a story-based tower defense as well. So there's a story going on as you're playing, which is quite good. And yeah, as far as I know, there's 3 of these games, and I think I've seen the third one was on the Xbox as well, but I couldn't find the second one, so I don't know what happened there. But yeah, we're looking out for playing some more of that. It's pretty damn good. Moving on to P, we're doing alright for time. This one's irritating, so I'll tell you why. So it's called Pedestrian. It was on Game Pass on the Xbox One. Is it still there? I think it's still on there. So I played this game properly, did the full 1000G, completed it. There is a hack you can do in the game where you can kind of type in commands and just get the achievements without playing the game. And don't do that. Just don't do it. It's a fantastic game. So you play as a kind of little stick man, and you move through signs and stuff in the world, and you do little puzzles. So it's kind of a platforming puzzle game, and you can move the signs, some signs around to create the puzzle, link rooms, so it goes from one sign to the other, collecting bits for this device, which comes more relevant towards the end of the game. And yeah, it's a great story. And the end of the game, if you haven't seen it and you've done the cheat, you're doing yourself over, because the end of the game is just bloody great, and where it all comes together, what's been going on, and yeah, it's just a nice surprise. I just recommend playing the game and not cheating yourself out of a just fantastic game. Just play the bloody game. And then we did other P was Plague Tale Requiem on the Xbox Series X, and my god, what a game. So I did the first one, Innocence, I think it was last year, and I just played it just randomly, not knowing what it was, and just absolutely loved it. Just fell in love with it. Great game. So when I heard there was a sequel coming out, obviously I wanted to play it. It hit Game Pass, so jumped straight on it. And yeah, just visually absolutely beautiful. You play as a girl and a boy, although in the second one you don't play as the boy as much. You mostly play as the girl. You have a sling, which you go through levels kind of stealthily taking down enemies if you want to. There's kind of multiple ways to play the game. You can play it stealth, you can play it all out action if you just want to go and kill all the guards. And yeah, the boy can control rats, and the big kind of main thing of the story is these rats are coming to just destroy everything, and the boy can control them. It's part of this virus that's going on. I don't want to spoil it too much, but you're trying to find a cure for your brother, the young boy. It's just a bloody great game. Definitely recommend playing that. So we'll move on to Q. We've got some more physical to show you. So on the 360 we did Quantum Theory. It plays like Gears of War basically, a cover-based shooter, where you try and take down these towers that are coming into the earth, coming out of the earth, and these creatures are coming out of them, and yeah, you're basically trying to stop it. And yeah, cover-based shooter, where you also have in some levels a woman with you who you can use to throw at enemies, and she'll just attack them with her sword and just beat them up. Even some of the dialogue in the early levels are just complete rip-off of Gears of War. It's actually quite funny, but not a bad game. It was alright. Really enjoyed it. So yeah, actually recommend playing that if you like your kind of Gears of War type games. The other queue we did was another Xbox 360 arcade game, which we got free with Games with Gold. Quantum Conundrum, and it's a first-person puzzle-based game. It plays a little bit like kind of Portal, that kind of thing. Let's say you have 4 abilities. One is to slow time down. One is to speed it up. Is it? Can't remember. One is to make things heavy, and one is to make things light. So you basically getting like a heavy safe. You can make it light, so you can pick it up to put it on a switch, make it heavy, so it turns the switch on. And yeah, you go through. You're in a mansion. I think is your uncle has got lost in another dimension, so you've got this arm device which allows you to manipulate, like say, objects, go through different parts of the mansion doing puzzles to turn on a device that's going to help him. And yeah, really enjoyed it. Just a great little puzzle kind of game. Then we're on to R, and yeah, we blitzed R. We've got 4 here, so I'll show you the series that I did with R, which has almost been spoilt already. But a series that I've wanted to play since getting the PS3, and that is the Resistance Fall of Man series. Now I was really excited to play this, and the series is good. The first one I actually found quite boring. Yeah, first person shooter game, just the graphics on this are dreadful. It's pretty much all shades of green, and I just got bit bored with it. So it's alien invasion, you're shooting aliens. There's some kind of story there, I think. Yeah, it was alright. The second one got a lot better, but instead of having shades of green, we had shades of orange, and that was it. It again was a bit dull. Yeah, I really wanted to like these games, but as a first-person shooter story game, it just didn't grab me. They're just far better. And after everybody hyping them up, maybe that's what let it down a bit. It was too much hype, but it did get better. I did enjoy it. Some great weapons with various kind of usages and abilities on them. It was alright. It was okay. The story got a bit better, and then obviously on to Resistance 3. So we did all three of these back to back. Graphics a lot better on this. A lot more colours and variety in it. Do you still play as this? Yeah, I think you still play as the same characters on this. I think it's the PSP version you play as a different character. And I really need to finish it. But yeah, third one got a lot better. Did enjoy it overall. It just wasn't mind-blowing for me. Sorry, PS3 guys. You just don't do first-person shooters very well. Oh. So, R. We did another R. It was a digital Xbox One game, again on Game Pass, called Raji. It was a top-down, what could you call it, hack and slash adventure game kind of thing. It's based on Indian folklore and all that kind of stuff, and their Indian gods and whatever. And you play as a girl with a staff, and you go through taking down demons, doing little platform bits, trying to rescue, I think it's your brother. It was alright, got the 1000G from it. I did it. It did take a little bit of time to do in the end, but once you'd done it, I think there was a chapter select. You could mop up anything you'd finished and all that kind of stuff. It was okay. So on to S. We did quite a few S's as well. Yeah, it's going to be a long one, this, isn't it? So on to S. So the first one we did was again a digital Xbox One game, which was on Game Pass, but it was part of the EA Game Pass. That was Sea of Solitude. Really enjoyed this. Great story on it. A little adventure game. I don't think there's much combat in it. I can't remember. You play as a young girl. There's a lot of kind of mental health issues during the game, and it's called Sea of Solitude because you're in a boat and you're going through water-based levels, and the world's been engulfed in the water, and as you do it, the water kind of goes down and allows you more access to different parts of the levels. There's this big black demon thing who's following you around, trying to get you in the water and whatever, and yeah, there's different parts of your past which gets revealed as you play the game, and I just recommend it. The story's fantastic, the gameplay is really good, so play that if you can. Then we did Scorn. It obviously just got released, the kind of first person walking simulator horror game. It's another one I wish I'd waited till I got my Series X to play, because I played it cloud-based digital again, because obviously it's a Series X game. I didn't have my Series X at the time, and I really wanted to play it, so I just played it. I really enjoyed this game. This game divides a lot of people. A lot of people say the combat's too hard, the puzzles are too hard, you are just lame, basically. There is a bit of combat in there, but it is not a combat game. I think people are trying to make it more of a first-person shooter game. It is, and it is not that type of game. It's more an atmospheric, like I say, walking similar horror game. And there is some messed up stuff that you have to do in this game. I enjoyed the puzzles. There was a couple of frustrating ones, yes. But, you know, once you got them, you got them. You feel good about solving it. And, yeah, it wasn't even the longest game. It didn't really take me that long to get through. I did it in just a couple of sittings, I believe. And got the 1000G from it. And I just really enjoyed the experience. It's more of an experienced type game. Yeah, I enjoyed it. So yeah, but like I say, it's not for everyone. So then we also did Shadow Warrior, again digital on the Xbox One. This might have been a Games with Gold game, I think I did it for. First person shoot, hack and slash, because you also have obviously katanas and stuff that you're hacking demons and people up with. Fantastic. great story, great dialogue, funny as hell, and yeah, you're basically a kind of hitman, and there's like a demon invasion, and you're trying to get these different swords that give you abilities, loads of different weapons in there, and just going through levels, hacking and slashing and shooting demons up. Just great fun. Arcade games at its best, really, coming back for a modern day game. And the last S we got is a digital game, and it is our Wii game. So we did Silent Hill, Shattered Memories. I talked about this a bit on Mark's video, if you've seen Mark's video, talking about our 52 game challenge. Really enjoyed it. For a Silent Hill game, very different to a Silent Hill game. Plays best, I would say, on the Wii. I know there's, like I said before, there's a PS2 version, I think a PSP version. I can't imagine it playing it on them systems, because the motion controls that you use make the game, and it's the way it's meant to be played. So using, obviously, one of them as your flashlight to look around, and just walking around the world of Silent Hill. It's kind of a reimagining of the first Silent Hill story, just different. So the world ices over, and you have to run away from the enemies. There's not really any combat in it. If the enemies grab you, you just kind of shake them off, and you're trying to get to the end of the area, and then it kicks into more story-based stuff again, trying to work out what the hell is going on. The twist at the end I thought was really good. And yeah, if you get a chance to play it, I definitely recommend playing it. It's a good Silent Hill edition in the franchise. And like I say, the motion controls are used in quite unique ways, such as swimming, using a wheelchair. They're some ones that really stick to mind, that were really fun and good to do. And just really enjoyed it. So yeah, good game. SSS. So we're on to T. We've got a few T's to get through. A couple of digital games again. Next year I think I'm going to not do as many digital. My Game Pass has run out now. I think I'm going to leave it for a bit, because there's a lot more physical stuff, as you can see, that I want to get through. I also have a couple of ideas of what I want to do next year. We'll talk about that in a bit. Let's carry on with our letters first. So T, we did 12 minutes digital on Xbox One. Again, a Game Pass game, where you basically are just in a top-down view of your living room in your house, and you can move into different parts of the room, like I think the living room also has your kitchen in. You go into the bedroom, the toilet and stuff, and it's called 12 minutes because you basically play for like 12 minutes and then something happens, and then you can rewind time and change the outcome or outcomes of what is going to happen. And it's kind of it's a mystery game where obviously you play the man, you've got a wife, and you're trying to unravel a mystery from your wife's past. It stars quite a few famous people. I think James McAvoy, I'm going to forget now, William Dafoe I think is in it. Oh, what's the woman's name? And there's a woman in it, I forget now who the woman is. But yeah, great story, great little game. My girlfriend did try and play it as well. She got frustrated and lost in it. But yeah, I managed to complete to completion, get the 1000G from it, and really enjoyed it. Then the next one we got is another digital Game Pass game that played on the One, and that's Trek to Yomi. It's a black and white side-scrolling hack and slash style game set in like obviously feudal Japan, that kind of stuff. You play as like a samurai, and yeah, you're just going through levels, hacking up people. It's quite tactical as well, as what I remember. It's not just running and just waving your sword around. You think you have to, I think, time your attacks and that kind of stuff with it. But really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I've not fully got the 1000G from it. I've completed the story, but there's some achievements I want to mop up on it to fully finish it. Then the other T we did was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Again, played digitally on Xbox One on Game Pass. A 8-bit old style Turtles side-scrolling beat 'em up game. It is absolutely fantastic. It's proper Turtles, so it's proper 80s style Turtles with all your characters in it, all your enemies that are end-level bosses, plenty of levels. There was loads of levels, I think like 20 plus levels, and each level's a good, you know, a good amount of time to do. They're fairly long levels. Each level has 3 challenges on it you can do as well. I think it's like 6 player. Yeah, it's kind of normally them kind of games like 4 players. But I'm sure this one's like 6 player game. You obviously get to play as all 4 turtles, Splinter, April. At the end you can unlock Casey Jones, which I've done for, I think that's everybody. But yeah, you're taking down all the enemies that you'd know and love from the Turtles universe, from the original Turtles universe. And it's just a great game. Absolutely loved it. So we'll move on to you. I have a digital game down here. So one that I picked up specifically for this because I wanted to play the game and I was looking for another you to do. But we did Until Dawn. Now we've got the extended edition. I don't know what's extended about it. I'm not sure because I've not played the other edition and it doesn't say on here what's extended. But it's a kind of create your own story, survival horror, choice based game. Obviously again where you select dialogue and options to progress through the story. And yeah, it's got a horror feeling to it, although I didn't find it that horrific. Maybe it was the choices I made. I think there are better games in the vein of this. The Dark Pictures games are now coming out and this plays like them basically. It was alright for what it was. Again, it has a couple of famous people in it, such as Rami Malek and Peter Stormare plays the caretaker who takes you through the journey and your choices that you're making throughout the game. I did enjoy it. It was good. I do want to play it again and make some different choices and see how much it changes. I might enjoy it a bit more. I just did enjoy the kind of Dark Pictures games a bit more. But yeah, pretty decent game. Then the other you we did again was a digital Xbox One game that again I played on Game Pass, but it was part of the EA Game Pass bit, and that was Unravel. And this is just a really charming game where you play as kind of a ball of wool, which is made into a character called Yarny, and you're going through levels you can throw wool out to swing from like trees and bits and bobs, solving little puzzles along the way. Graphics of the environments that you're in are really good, and yeah, you just go through solving little puzzles, and kind of there's a story going in the background that you're trying to unravel. Hey, fun. And yeah, there's a sequel out now. I'm going through the sequel. I think I'm near the end of the sequel as well, and that one you can play 2 player. There's 2 of you going through the levels. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, really enjoyed the first one. There is some hard bits in it, and I think there's only a couple more achievements I need, and there's some quite hard ones in there as well. But really enjoyed playing through that. All this talking, not used to it. So V, we've got a couple of V's. First one was Virginia, a game I bought digitally really cheap on the Xbox One. And I can't remember much about it. It's been a while. I did get the 1000G out of it. It's a story-based mystery game. Yeah, I really can't remember much about it. The graphics weren't great on it. They're kind of blocky. Yeah, I'm stuck. I can't remember much about it. And I remember it being good at the time. It's just been so long that I forgot about it. I've just played all the better stuff. But yeah, if you can get it cheap again, maybe give it a go. Then we've got one physically. So this is the remake. I do have it on the 360, although I've not done it. So I definitely want to play through it again because it's a fantastic game. So I did the is it HD remake, I guess, of Vanquish. Obviously this one comes with Bayonetta as well, which again I really need to do because I have both versions, 360 and this one. But yeah, we did Vanquish on the Xbox One. The graphics are phenomenal on it. The action in it is just mental, fast-paced, third-person shooter, if you like. Yeah, going through levels, shooting stuff up. There's some phenomenal levels, some great set pieces in it, and yeah, just loads of fun. It's by Sega, so proper arcade style. Just great game. Yeah, really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to going through it again on 360. Then we're on to W. Oh, we have another physical. and that is Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus on the Xbox One. And I'm sure everybody knows Wolfenstein, first-person shooter set in an alternate world war where the Nazis have took over. And this is, yeah, it's great, it's funny, plenty of good weapons. I'm sure it's this one where you go to space and meet Hitler, who lives on the moon, and it's just hilarious. It's so good. It's absolutely bizarre as well. There's, I think halfway through the game you get your head cut off, but the resistance save your head, put it on the body, and then you get different abilities. You can have legs that allow you to stretch up to get high places. You can get this thing put in your chest so you stretch and go through crawl spaces. And what's the third one? There's the third ability. I can't remember what the third ability is. This is the third ability. Just completely outrageous and out there, but loads of fun, which is what gaming's all about. And you really enjoyed it. Just absolutely great game. Yeah, definitely enjoyed playing that. The other W I didn't enjoy so much. This is probably the worst game on my list. I enjoy playing everything. I just enjoy playing games. And I did kind of enjoy it. There's a game there, and this is one again I mentioned on Georgie Slash's video. Wow, how's his name just appeared for me? It's called We Are the Dwarfs. Played it digitally. I bought it really cheap on Xbox. I'm glad I bought it cheap. So you play as 3 dwarfs who are lost in space. Their ships crash. They're split up. Each one has a different ability. There's a stealth guy. The stealth mechanics in the game are shocking. They do not work. And yeah, you have to reunite your dwarfs, go through little levels, try and find pieces to fix your ship, and that's basically it. It's quite poor. The graphics aren't great. The story's not really there. It's kind of there somewhere. The game just ends at the end. It doesn't explain anything. It just ends. There's not even credits that go up. It's really bizarre, but it has potential. It has potential. That's the annoying thing, because just a little bit more work on it, it would have been all right. It would have been good. But yeah, it wasn't great. But I did get the 1000G from it. And you don't have to complete the game to get the 1000G from it, which is why I added it to the list. Because after I got the 1000G, I wanted to finish the game. I wanted to see it to the end, which I did. And it was a struggle, but we got there because of the broken mechanics. So X, we only did one X, the only other letter that we didn't complete twice. And we did PlayStation 2 game. Obviously, X-Files, not counting the doesn't count. So X-Files on the PS2, survival horror, kind of Resident Evil-y, plays a bit Resident Evil-y. You get plays Mulder and Scully. I did Mulder's story. I want to go through again and do Scully's story, because I think there are different parts to it. Looking at the back, if you play Scully, you get to do like what do you call it, autopsies and that kind of stuff. They are voiced by David Coffey and Gillian Anderson, so it really adds to the story, which is a unique X-Files story as well. It's not one from the TV series, and I just really enjoyed it. It was a great little game. So yeah, we go through that again and do Scully's version of the game. On to Y now. Okay, so this game I did complete digitally on the Xbox One, but I do have the physical, which I got off 2D Champion Rob with Hard Target. Because it was on Game Pass, I just played it physically, because this is still sealed, and I didn't want to open it because I could already play it digitally. Completed, got 1000G, so this is going to remain sealed for now. Although I'm glad I have it physical, because it's a fantastic game. So it's a Metroidvania pinball game where you play as this little beetle with this little piece of dung, rolling it round, using it as a pinball, going around the levels, doing quests for little people that are, and bugs and stuff that are on the level. And it's just fun. It's great fun little pinball mechanics. And like I said, Metroidvania style game. Yeah, just really recommend it. It was good fun. And the other Y we did, and the last physical game we've got to show on the 360 is Young Justice Legacy. Probably the second worst game I played out of this stack. It wasn't great. You play as the Young Justice League for a start, which is terrible. Why you couldn't just play as the Justice League, I don't know. Most of the characters are annoying. Obviously, got your own abilities and stuff depending what character you play as. It's a third person beat 'em up game, I suppose. Bit of adventure. You just go through levels, beating the bad guys up, doing whatever mission you're on, which is mostly irrelevant. There is some kind of story there. You're trying to stop something. I don't know. Plenty of levels though. Yeah, it's got a bit bored. Is it more? You can play it co-op to 3 players. It might be a bit more fun with 2 or 3 players. Probably not. Yeah, it wasn't great. I just needed another Y. I thought it'd be a bit better than it was. It was playable. It was okay. Just, yeah, not great. Not great. Then our last two Zeds, both digital games. So the first one, I thought I had it on the Wii U, but I actually haven't. I thought I picked it up and I haven't. So I played it digitally on the one. I think it was a Games with Gold game. I think. Zombie. Great first person, not a shooter, just action game. So you have, I think, just melee weapons. There might be a couple of, yeah, you do have guns. You do have guns on it as well. I'm getting confused. And you're trying to, it's based in London. You're trying to solve a mystery of what's going on. I think you're trying to also escape London, and obviously there's zombies everywhere. And there's various areas of London that you can go in, including Buckingham Palace, which is interesting. And yeah, it's a survival game as well. That's it. You're trying to survive by collecting food and resources and that kind of stuff. I think it's got kind of a permadeath in it. So if your character dies, you die, and then you have to get a whole new character to continue the story with. And yeah, again, it's quite enjoyable. I think I need, again, maybe 2 achievements, 1000G, so I will try and get that done. And the last one was an absolute fantastic game. Pause for dramatic effect. So, Zombie Army 4. So it's based on the Sniper Elite games, uses the same engine, but the world is overrun by zombies, and you're a sniper, and yeah, you're just shooting hordes of zombies. So they did the trilogy, which comes as a package, which is based on, I think, the first 3 Sniper Elite games, but just reversed and taken on zombies. This one is, I believe, its own thing. So it obviously it plays like Sniper Elite, shooting zombies, but it also plays a bit like kind of a Left 4 Dead as well, where you're getting through the levels to a checkpoint, to then restock, to then do the next section of it. And then there are obviously special zombies as well, ones that explode and all that kind of stuff that you'd expect. So it's kind of a mash of the two games and genres, and just really enjoyed it. Loads of levels, absolutely tons of levels. And also loads of DLC for it as well, where you get loads of Horde maps as well, which again, playing the Horde maps was just as fun as playing the campaign. Really good fun, really enjoyed it. Like I said, I played it digitally on the one, but I will be looking out for a physical copy as well to get it finished. Just really enjoyed it. And that is my Alphabet Challenge 52 game challenge. Once again, yeah, I counted 58 games. I may have missed some other ones that I completed and didn't add to the list. I can't remember. So yeah, we did the alphabet once. We did complete the alphabet. There was just 2 letters short of doing the alphabet twice, which is a bit of a shame. And we did all my systems by 4, and only 1 system that we didn't play on. So I call that a win. Not too bad. Hopefully there's some suggestions or games there that have caught your eye and you'll try and play yourself. I recommend pretty much every game on the list. I thoroughly enjoyed playing them. I look forward to what next year brings. Like I say, I have 2 ideas of what I want to do for my challenge next year. I was going to say in the video what I was going to do, but I can't decide of the 2 which ones I'm going to do. So for now, I'll leave it as a surprise. Surprise? My throat is proper going now. So I will leave you there. It's probably been a long enough video as it is, and I've got to get this edited somehow in the next 2 days while working. Hope you all enjoy your year and had a great year of gaming. Look forward to seeing you guys' videos on this, and we'll see you soon. in the next one. Bye for now.